要出发啦！继续追逐屋顶。我怎么在追逐就在屋顶？
该不会你在屋顶那边开始吧？
哇，你最好不要、哦！再见，我去死啊！都死好了，烦死了，不要玩了。
我看到追逐屋顶，该不会你还在追逐？
你不要哦，警告你哦！
应该没有，应该没有。我记得我不在泳池那里。你应该在花园那里吧？
对啊，迷宫这里，就是我昨天躲过杀人魔那里。
You okay?
嗯。
I got lucky.
If it weren't for that barbed wire, we could just climb out.
为什么我这边声音好诡异哦？
怎么了？
不知道啊，明明就没什么人，但是声音却好诡异。
怎么样？声音很诡异。反正我觉得我现在站的地方很诡异。
Down here, I guess.
我怕啦！反正不会来追我嘛，对不对？
我不是跟你讲吗？他在花园的时候，他不会追你啊。
This is freaking me out.
哦，我要去灯塔了，我要去灯塔。
Listen, there's something I noticed about Dumet.
What?
Okay, listen, when I was a kid, I didn't speak much.
No kidding.
No, I mean like at all. They called it selectively mute. Like I could talk, but I chose not to.
And what's that got to do with Dumet?
We've never heard his voice.
So,
One of the things
哎，
they
这时
said
候我
about
按
the
一下暂停。
psychologists was
OK， 怎么啦？
没事，去当头香而已。嗯，
that I was hiding. That I was scared that if I spoke, I would give away my identity. That's the same as Dumet.
same reason he wears a mask.
No, it's more than that. There's a conflict in his identity. He doesn't even know who he is. It's like he's caught between being two people.
Or he's trying to separate the killer from the regular guy he is the rest of the time.
Maybe.
干蠢事！
哎呀，那边讲什么？啊，等我一下，发现我忘记开麦了。真是每次都会忘记开麦，好了。
好笑。
你知道，当音轨分开之后，就会忘记开麦。
嗯，我还没把资料看完，重新再看一遍。凯特上神，我知道他是你儿子，可是我是为了嫁给你才和你结婚，不是为了你儿子。 更何况应该负起责任阻止他干蠢事的人是你前妻，不是我。哎，我也不知道，说不定这趟旅行才是让我心情这么不好的原因。当初你说要带我去，
后右转，
什么800公尺后右转？没有 Google 起来，不是在导航耶，吓死了！哎，当初你说要带我去秘密小岛度假，结果这和我想的差很多。我不管他是不是知名恐怖小说家哈利森里，他只是你老板。你不用连度假都陪他一起度过。我们可不可以想办法共度两人时光？谢谢，哎，谢谢哦。一路，那个路还是楼？别了，还是说，亲爱的寇特。我觉得写下来应该会轻松点，因为每一次想跟你谈，我就不开心，我很难过。你知道我跟汤马斯处的不好，我就是不懂为什么我们到哪都得带着他。你自己都说他是天杀的噩梦，从早到晚跟他相处让我很不快乐。
我刚才差点自己吓自己，你知道吗？
怎么了？
就是穿那个自己的衣服，被自己的衣服吓到，因为我刚才拿相机出来。
也是，我现在也觉得我现在自己吓自己。楼上，
不是，我刚才跟你讲啊，那边就是蛮安全的啦。
对，还有地板。这是电闸开关，启动控制箱。OK。哦，
嗯，
拉。好，我随便按一个密道就出来了，只要开密道就可以了吗？
哦，所以那边哦，
什么意思？我开密道就可以了吗？ 哦，我觉得我下来，我可能又要被吓死。
伊雅安安，
哎，幽灵儿，
幽灵儿安安
守灵
啊，
挂挂，
好，那你可以把这些灵体都吓走，我不喜欢，包含那个杀人鬼一起吓走。
他是人呐、他吓不
CA
走那个
晚安
人。
嗯，幽灵儿说歇完，
我希望你多多备贺。
不行，我被吓，到时候我会几天不能开台。便衣杀人魔已身亡。芝加哥警方于今日证实，近2个月前发现的废弃仓库起火案。
好啊，伊雅积极护法现身。
好的。那么寻获男性尸体，身份为失踪的 FBI 探员。啊，蒙迪先生！寻获的尸体严重焦黑，经以牙科记录确认身份。蒙迪原为今年3起凶杀案的头号嫌疑犯，直至今日，在这3起互有关联的凶杀案中，媒体与民众只知道。
您好，请问是求主播客服吗？我们这边是猫罐头。
我被吓到了。
您好，请问是求主播客服吗？我们这边是猫罐头厂商，有一批猫罐头要推销，想请问您那边的意愿。
我不是猫，这里没有猫。
哦
你问错人了，请去找艾妈，谢谢。他们只在学校被称为便衣杀人魔 ，OK。就他现在你那边吗？
对，他现在找我，他是不是确定这边有一个人？
这是狗蛋。
哦，走掉了。
地板禁止再说一次，再禁止再说一次2个字合起来不好听。
地板你再讲一次，我就会把那个留言删掉了。第2次可能就会送你下去1分钟，第3次送你下去10分钟。
哦，不是吧？他怎么在我这里？
哎，
Come on, go!
他才在我这边而已啊。所以有不止一个杀人魔啊。
Hurry up!
他走这么快吗？我看到你们的监视器耶，这边有监视，这边有监视你们的监视器，监视花园的监视器。
我现在脑袋跟心脏都好痛。
No, no, please. Please, please don't.
啊，心脏好痛。
哦？嗯？嗯？请抓，
远离，
比较
这到底是什么黑科技？好哦，
什么？
黑
你说那
科技镜
个
子，
反光镜吗？
对啊，
哦，我刚才被那个，他那个解密的女友吓到了。嗯，
你被 Aaron 吓到
他是 A 轮吗？
啊？帮叫艾琳啊，
哦，
但是
艾琳啊。
英文念就叫
嗯，
Francis Morello.
莫雷
哦什么？
洛。这个是发什么照啊？驾照之类的吗？
他们写什么？
莫雷洛法兰西斯莫雷洛，地址是加州棕榈谷峡谷道1134号，出生日期是1978年11月23号，类别 C，性别男，发色黑，同色中，身高180公分，发照日期2008年11月23号。
哦，啊，听不出来是什么东西。物证，芝加哥警方物证。
谢谢你陪我们出来玩法兰西斯伯伯。
这是什么东西？艺术家葛兰森·杜梅特啊，又是建筑师，又是设计师，又是艺术家。我希望我的剧组死掉。
哦，对啊，你听到那个了是不是？你在下面的那个诊疗室嘛，对不对？
不在诊疗室，我在灯塔这里。
哦，你不觉得他讲话断断续续的吗？Where are you, Aaron？
剪接过的，剪。
那到底是
艾琳被
什么？
骗了，
到底是啊？Aaron 被骗了，怎么了？
就是那个他是剪接过的，那个马克直接就说他是剪接过的。
哦，对啊，他是剪接过的啊，那个一听就听得出来了。我不懂为什么他听不出来，就是。
可能因为被吓到也是有差吧，被吓到很难，那个判断会比较不经思考判断。
There's a key.
Oh shit！
怎么了？
有手。这应该里面有个人死在里面。
Jesus.
找到秘密，他手被切掉了。 就不知道是谁。反正我就找到一个尸体。反正他不要再让我去那种我要自己跑的追逐赛，纯粹按 QTE 我还勉强可以接受。不要再让我自己跑。
与珍妮佛·爱德华，这什么东西？
我们今天能不能把它早点结束掉？我好害怕，我不要再承受这类的痛苦了。
1965年7月7号，克拉伦斯，你已经有6个月没有来看我了，所以我写了这封信，想告诉你一声消息：你有个儿子，我几个礼拜前下场，我需要你在这里，我没有办法。独自面对这件事，我爸妈有帮忙，但他们2个年纪都很大。
是啊，越是害怕就越慢结束。
克拉伦斯，拜托你 ，L 蒙迪是谁啊？蒙迪好像这个名字好像一直在出现。
我觉得我压力山大就是
哦，吓到我了！一个月打开一只猫跳出来，哦，气死我了！哦，吓到了。
我现在也觉得我在很可怕的农舍啊，怎么办？我需要害怕吗？我要。有一只狗，
可能要哦。你需要提前跟你讲一下吗？还是你想自己体验？
哦、shit！
哦，看来不用了，看来你看到了。然后建议。哦，算了，那你自己判断好了，我不多做建议。
没关系，你可以建议。
他之后会要你选择要不要把狗杀掉，建议把狗杀掉。
真的、哦？
嗯，因为狗会一直叫。
有2个人呢。我要被动保告了，再见了，世俗的狗啊！我们地狱再见。
同类相残。
世俗的狗啊，再见了。I'm sorry。
你不杀掉它哦，你就会被发现。
一定被发现就对了。
嗯，
对不起，为了我想要好好的玩，你只能去死了。
哦，哇哦，好亮！我开灯塔了，可是开了灯塔代表还有一个就是
完了，
引起会把那个引过来。
踩到那个探测器了，完了。
你是凯特，那我应该是马克吧？
哎，那艾琳呢？Aaron 去哪了？
艾伦在我后面啊。我看到你跑过来了。
什么？
哦
1月28日续回。马里兰州银泉教堂路圣保罗墓园，1998年1月30日，亲爱的蒙迪先生，仅此通知安葬处 R357P2至4近期发生的事件。根据委托人之权利，向您通知安葬处。好的，这我又重复了。安葬处部分啊，我还没算了。
Hey, no, it's me. It's just me. Sorry.
Thank God.
我还没念完，被跳过来了。没事，算了。
You see Mark?
砍下去。
He's up here. We're trying to turn on the stupid light.
Mark?
在跟萨阿摩对干。
Please tell me you can hear me.
你在房间里？
没有错。
Kate?
要跑喽！
剩最后一点吗？不对啊，我们还要出船哦。
所以差不多已经到差不多。哦，我怎么没看到这个？
这个就是拉博那个假人啊，他把他嘴巴放那个麦克风。有点可惜耶 ，Jamie 还是死了。原本可以看到2对情侣快乐生活的，哎，说不定会再少一对。
就那个啊，所以我们再拆散一对嘛，然后让那2个，这样剩下2个人在一起，对不
对？好像是个不错的选择，
是不是？
没错，不历史
啊，什么意思啊？
可是这个弄不好会触礁呢。那个什么浴室有看到啊？
弗利斯啊，弗利斯。好，这边最后一段了，确定是最后一段了。那10点前应该可以结束。
Oh my god！
Oh. Hands where I can see them, all of you.
Oh my god!
No talking. I said hands where I can see them.
求求你救救我们
Thank God you're here. You have to help us.
Until I know what's happening here, no one moves.
你的船呢？
Sir, behind you, the boat.
Seriously, lady?
我没有骗你啊！
哦，警察先生的手松。
Oh my god！ 那是什么防狼喷雾
Another boat! Run!
你要拿枪吗？拿枪，拿！
Get his gun.
快拿，快拿！
拿！
Oh shit！ 喷他！
拿！可怜的警察。不
要再让我按那个心电图，应该都按得到。好。
This way. This should work.
Oh, it's not working. Starter cord. There.
谁啦？你啦？我啦？
我不知道。Oh my god！ 你怎么直接自行走失水里啊？哎，前面会触礁，要小心哦。
我是马克，你是艾琳啊。
哦。
We did it. We're gonna make it.
Not all of us.
I'm just glad I'm in one piece.
啊，你是艾琳，你掉下去了。
我有按对啊，不然我刚刚被砍到，你知道吗？
那只剩下我在上面了。你是凯特，我是马特。哦，好。
Fuck！ 我的心脏好痛。他到底为什么可以这样出完身来？
啊，砍下去！
怎么了？怎么了？怎么了？发生什么事？
快！我按对了。
哎，呜！
快救我！
我没有东西。
救我！
有，我有救到你了。哦，我还被甩到船下去。他力量也太大了。有，成功了。
要跳船！
要跳船，要爆炸！
跳船！
哦，这段 QT， 他那个突然从水上跳出来，真的有吓到人，好可怕！刚刚那个真的有吓到哎。
是啊，可能吓死人。
结果3个人都活着。
啊，马克开后宫哎！
你想太多了啦。
If that song doesn't put a smile on your face, I don't know what will. We have a non-stop block for your favorite classic rock after this break.
No damn commercials.
开车不专心，在那边吃饼干。
哦，
完了。
Shit!
开车不专心吃饼干。
And I looked up, and there they were just in the middle of the flipping road, waving their hands and arms like a bunch of crazies.
And where are you coming in from?
Fort Wayne. Been driving since 3 a.m.
我有相机，我有证据，我有相
Well, I was
机。
trying to get into the port by 8. Probably not gonna
相
make
机还在，我有证
it.
据。
I'd say likely not.
You know what? I think I'm gonna see about that studio in Brooklyn. See if I can make it work.
I think that would be great for you.
Yeah.
I suppose I could get used to how they fuck up hot dogs and pizza.
What?
Well, I have some leads in New York for work. I mean, if that's okay. I don't want to invite myself if
这2个人和好了
Shut up.
哦。
完了，旁边一个单身狗，
Fine with me, more
旁
than
边一个
fine.
单身狗没有，他不是单身狗，他的另一半已经去
已经嘎了，他
嘎了。
他是真的没办法被嘎了。
真的是嘎了。
嗯，那个我们真的救不了他啊，查理死了就算了。这个好惨。什么单身狗剧情？我比较想知道最后真相是什么到底是谁啊？所以那个杀人魔到底是谁？这样是结束了。
嗯，
我们破台了。
嗯。
What the fuck？ 那感觉我们昨天就可以把它打完了。What the fuck？
哦，他草书好好看。
嗯。干嘛丢垃圾桶？哦，不对，要走起来。什么东西？
我不知道。
Oh, you're here. All good things must come to an end, but how good was the end for our crew? Unfortunately, you lost a few of them. So rest in peace. Charlie, I'm afraid it looks like Series 2 isn't going to be commissioned after all. And Jamie, the plug's been pulled and the lights are out. I don't think rewiring the fuse is going to help this time around. What about those who survived? Has the experience changed them?
给他们带来经验就是不要再乱去别人地方。
Traumatized by something that happened a long time ago, but she
你马达
faced
救不
the
干嘛？
thing she was most afraid of in the whole world and
好像把它打
survived.
完了。
Perhaps that helped her see how important Mark's love was to her.
结束了，
Mark
结束了。
had to stop waiting for people to tell him what to do. He had to make his own way in the world. And that helped him find his way back to Kate. And Erin showed everyone that though she might be easily spooked, she found immense courage when she needed it the most.
不得不说，我们玩完之后，3个角色其实蛮正向的。
对啊。
I'll tackle the paperwork in the morning. Can you find your own way out? It was, as always, enlightening. I have no doubt we'll meet again in the future. Farewell.
所以到底谁是杀人魔？啊，谁是杀人魔？
杜美特啊，他不是杜美特吗？
我想知道到底长什么样子啊！
哦，
哦，干你娘啦！
所以不止一个模仿犯啊，看起来是不止一个模仿
The
犯。
chain of events are still unclear at this point in time.
看
What we can
他上一
confirm
秒还在
is
我这
that a
里，下一
little
秒就
after
去你那边，
7:30,
怎么可
a
能？
truck driver was flagged down to render
所以我觉
aid.
得岛
The
上不止一
police
个
were
模仿
called
犯。
and quickly arrived on scene. The survivors are part of a film crew, Lonnet Entertainment, the team behind the Architects of Murder docuseries.
Fuck, man.
It seems
like
as though
that show.
they got a little too close to their subject material. And some of them, sadly, did not survive. Thankfully, their ordeal is now at an end.
Holy shit. Remember how my video went viral?
How could we forget? You bring it up every chance you get.
Just listen to this. I got enough views to win a competition. What did you win? An all-expense paid trip to an island.
Holy shit!
不要再去了，拜
Now, Mr.
托！
Dumet says they're gonna send a limo and everything.
拜托不要
This
去
is gonna be
啊！
so much fun.
Oh my
拜
god！
托不要去啊！拜托，
你看上面那个人。
看到杜维特了。
Oh my goodness! Holy moly, motherfucker! God， 就跟你真的是不止一个人呢、欸。这是假人。
感觉上就是模仿犯就不止一个人啊。
嗯。
要不然他怎么可以瞬间瞬移到其他地方？一定不止一个人啊！只是，搞不好他们跟那个迈克尔·杰克逊那个疯狂崇拜者一样啊，整形跟他一样。你知道迈克尔·杰克逊有个很疯狂的粉丝吗？
怎么样？
就是他就自己把自己整形到跟迈克尔·杰克逊长得完全一模一样。
Oh my god！ 这比整形成芭比娃娃还夸张哎！
看他刚才4个人，有1个人不能动了，所以代表说还有3个杀人魔，是这样意思吗？
有可能。好玩是好玩啦，但是对心脏真的不好。
这代表会有，感觉上还有3个杀人魔。
我比较想厘清他的故事内容。
故事内容嘛，就是一个模仿犯啊。
我觉得可以上网找一下，跟大家讲故事，应该蛮有趣的。
打完了耶，你要打日麻吗？
打日麻是不是？
啊，结束了不是吗？难道你还想再玩下一个吗？不想了吧？
不要再来了。
那不是在打日麻吗？要不然怎么打魔猎的吗？
那魔物是蛮久没打，不过我觉得我们可以先为这一部游戏做个总结跟新的感想这样。
哦，是可以的。
这可以跳掉吗？
我不知道啊，应该是你这边跳吧，我这边没有按键可以跳啊。
我也不能按欸。
说来没注意看这次新中魔有一如往常的赛鲁特。
没有。
意识哦，没有啊。我觉得没有啦。不过因为这一次大家都蛮，怎么讲？不算是碧池，但是你还是可以把它弄得很操蛋。
可是碧池女角真的有一个碧池女角，只有第3集才有啊。我记得梅兰号跟新中魔没有啊，只有在梅兰号希望这没有啊，只有在那个
那个什么。
之前看直到
第3代才有，或者明代才有啊。
都会有一个 W。
到黎明
没有吧？那个是你自己做出，就是你去选择的。但是 每个人选择的不一样。
灰冥界确定是有一个。
灰冥界有什么？
她老公在外地出差，然后她跟隐区的一个小伙子交往，这样确定是有一个。灰冥界确定有一个。
这个也太绿帽了。
但棉兰号我记得没有，棉兰号跟希望这就其实就一个人而已啊。
太大声了。
希望真的从头到尾就一个人。
我说的是角色
所以也没有所谓的
性
彼此比较。
直到黎明
棉兰号我记得。
你是说演员感觉他都觉得像好哦？哪边有写啊？我也比较想知道那个演员说的东西，哪边有写啊？长龙。可以跳过了。
可以跳过了吗？
跳过了。
跳过哦，这个是下一集，下一部。
要看一下好了。哦，先后座号，原来里面那个文本就是在讲这个。等一下，为什么变成在太空？
像昏迷界也有，它里面也有夹杂那个心中魔的剧情啊。
太空给后是 X。
原来是 Dead Space 的Dead Space。啊，要有新的东西了。可是我比较想要那个文本去推敲出他的故事，文本不够。
文本你要全部收集完，真的有点难了。我们的文本有收集多少？我看一下，收藏品吧。
而且光是那个什么，我们那个浴室都没看完，还有一堆，我们起码有一半。
呀。
我们还有
干嘛要把它破完啦？我们还有很多秘密没找。观看影片，这是什么？
曼尼雪曼的尸体遭人盗窃。蒙迪有心理学的。
杰西伯克专访，这是什么
My name is Kate Wilder. I've got a master's in criminal psychology. I'm an
哦，这是纪录片，科技短片。
哦，路辛坦蒙迪是遭亲生儿子赫尔克特蒙迪杀害。
啊，赫克特蒙迪不是 FBI 探员吗？所以，哈，确定是一个畏罪自杀吗？
汪，
色破完了，你晚来了，我们半小时把它破完了。棉兰号，
这边你看那个啊，你看那个秘密的地方，
希望镇，
那个收藏的地方啊。
我看完电影了。
啊，你看完电影看了什么电影？你说收藏什么东西在哪里？看哪一个秘密吗？还是什么？哪一个啊？ 副文内容是路辛达蒙迪在儿子的陪同下安然离世。你这个路辛达蒙迪就是那个我们坐在灯塔里那个老阿伯的那个原型
路辛达蒙迪，等一下，你的副文为什么跟我的副文不太一样？
这边不是这样写吗？你的副文写什么？
我的副文内容是新路坦蒙迪在儿子的陪同下安然离世嘛，对不对？然后下一句是写说，路辛坦并未在睡梦中暗箱指示，而是遭亲生儿子赫克特蒙迪杀害。
铃芽之旅本来没要看，最后我身边的人
啊
都说好看。
我没有后面那段为什么？还是因为我没有去找阿伯？因为我还没逛完，我灯塔那边我才看第一份文件，然后就被传送了。铃芽之旅OK。
蒙迪与曼尼雪曼的录音对谈，雪曼将连续杀人犯神化。
陈述赫克特蒙迪已死的简报，警方证实他就是便衣杀人魔。
Good morning, Chicago. We begin today with some breaking news. Chicago police today confirmed the body of a man found in a fire at an abandoned warehouse in the Fulton River District to be that of missing FBI agent Hector Monday. Monday has been identified as the shoeshine killer, whose recent killing spree struck fear into the hearts of locals in and around Chicago. A spokesperson for Chicago PD confirmed Monday murdered 4 victims, including yesterday evening police officer Patrick Stanley, a dedicated veteran of 22 years. The fire was brought under control shortly before 5 a.m. this morning. The body recovered at the scene was burnt beyond recognition, but police identified Monday from dental records.
当地报纸的简报，以下葬的曼尼雪曼尸体遭人窃盗。
Chicago Police, Mr. Monday, this is Chicago Police. Can you open the door, please? Mr. Monday, I'm Officer Stanley with Chicago Police Department. Can you hear me, sir? Agent Monday? Fuck. Oh. Dispatch, this is Officer Stanley. I need assistance at 8 West 50th Street, requesting immediate backup. I'm in Agent Monday's apartment. There's blood everywhere, and a body. I need immediate support. I think...
他的秘密有配一些影片可以看你要看吗？
等我一下哦。
我太傻眼了。
看哪个秘密啊？
没有啊，就是他有几个秘密是可以选，就是有影片可以观看的。
看一下。
有些还有影片可以看。这是什么？
I first met Agent Monday on October 12th, 1997.
蒙迪被认定为便衣杀人魔的。
I'd actually met him once before at a lecture on criminal behavior given a few weeks prior here in Chicago, but I doubt you remember me from that. I was pretty nervous as the new kid on the block. I was just out of training, and I'd been assigned to drive around this big shot criminal profiler who just cracked the Arkansas case, which was all over the national newspapers. My first impressions were that he was tough.
蒙迪到底是不是？
这些秘密好像都只有在现场的时候才看得到详细的东西。 娜塔莉的女孩遗体。
You want to know what it means to be a killer? You ever been to the art museum downtown? They got this painting by a guy, I forget his name. Famous painter. He did portraits of slaughtered cows hanging on hooks. You take a normal person to a slaughterhouse, and they will puke their guts out. You make it into a painting, and suddenly it's art. There's no difference between the two. No, not really. Don't look at me like that. You know I'm right. You get it. I know you get it. You got to do something that matters. Make people feel something they've never felt before. Shatter the illusion that any of us are really in control. Think of the most profound thing you've ever done. The most beautiful thing you've ever created. And I promise you, it's nothing compared to watching the life bleed out of someone. To see the fear in their eyes. To feel them pawing at you for release. To hear them pleading. Begging. That moment. When someone realizes they are at their end.
秘密不够完全。
That's when you feel it. That's
让我们去 Google 一下来讲故事吗？
That's what you have to be. An artist.
我可以开始念故事。
A sculptor. An architect. I see the gleam in your eye, Agent Monday. You're not fooling me. Ah.
这个 BGM 太吓人了，不要掉。
Am I gonna be your first?
换一点轻松有趣的
Come on,
音乐。
then. Huh? I'm right here.
我在看
This
录
room
音
is
档。
soundproof. You don't even have to wait for a plane to fly overhead.
去找一下剧情，相关的剧情。
哦。
There you are. I see you now. Oh, not bad. Not bad at all. Bare hands can feel good, huh? But the blade makes for such a prettier picture. You've got potential, Agent Monday. If you truly want to be an artist.
什么东西？雪漫录音带，所以他的尸体被跑走嘛？那个坐在那时候不是他有一个，我们昨天在玩的时候不是有那个，镜中房间那个监视器录那个房间嘛，对不对？他有一个拷问室。单向镜的那个拷问室里面坐着那个坐着抽烟的那个尸体是雪漫的样子。
我的抽烟的尸体是雪漫。
哦，因为他嘴巴有放那个麦克风，通常会放麦克风会对应出那个人的声音吗？
对啊。
所以那个就是雪漫啊，然后跟他当下对峙的就是蒙迪探员啊。
可是蒙迪探员后来，他跟雪漫把连续杀魔神化了，最后变成蒙迪也变成杀魔了。
他的那个录音带就已经在蛊惑蒙迪了。从那边开启的吧？
可能吧。
然后雪漫不知道是不是，因为在他这个录音带里面有看到血迹，他那个呈现画面有血迹，在想是不是被凌虐致死。然后他还乱教一些东西，小孩子不要拿刀哦，知道吗？ 你知道他这个杜梅特云，他这个度假照片让我看的感觉啊，这个照片的感觉啊，为什么我有一种在看死魂曲照片的感觉？
那不是杜梅特啦。
对，我知道不是啊，他不是警察吗？
不是一个那个，
是吗？记错了。
真实杀人的就是那个记录的那个小说作者。
哇，他是小说家。
嗯，
叫什么
他是一个
名字啊？
作家。
忘
叫什么名字啊？我看一下。
好像有念到，忘记叫什么名字。
我把它打开来看一下。
雪漫录音带3。
A whole carton this time. You trying to get on my good side or something? Yeah, I think I'll save them. What, no questions? What's going on with you, Monday? Oh, you seem different.
我看一下收藏
I
品
see
质。
that glimmer in your eye, you little devil. I can keep secrets, man. We all have them. That prosecutor is
不
trying
是
to
杜
get
美特，
numbers
是
out of
乔
me.
瑟夫
You
·
know that?
莫雷诺
Of course
莫
you know
雷
that.
若。
Numbers. They got homes for 27.
他是一个真实犯罪作
We
家，
know he
专
was
门研
closer
究
to 200,
H.H. 福
right?
尔摩斯。
Can you imagine
乔
that?
瑟夫
I
莫
wish I
雷
had
诺
the time to try and beat that.
这个
Sure, they know about those nice realtor ladies. They got families after all. But the numbers the DA is asking me
现在好乱。
然后我
I
们
think
在
he
冷冻
knows
库看到
there's
那个
some
尸体是
people out there, rejects, misfits, the
莫
kind of people that
乔
when
瑟
you
夫的
see
女
them coming, you look the other way. Does anyone notice if they go missing?
反正他们一家3口少1个人呢。
My father always
3
told
个人
me
都死了。
to
对，
leave my mark
对
on the world.
在那个
I never knew what he meant by that. Not until I watched that first girl.
他们两个被杀的时候，好像那时候就是 Jamie 看到他离开嘛，然后底下就有那个杜梅特在那里看着啊，他就趁机过去杀了他们，是这样。
Ask people to list serial killers, and they'll drop 5, 10 on you before they can think of any more.
杜美特利用乔瑟夫对曼尼雪曼的着迷，将他们引诱至那个。
No one is going to say a damn thing. No one
哦
knows. No one cares.
哎，你把那个发给我，我等下念故事来听好了。
Movies about them.
没有啦，我在看那个邀请函。
哦，
他们那个乔瑟夫
No one gives a shit.
那5个人是哪5个人？第一个是乔瑟夫他自己嘛，然后他妻子嘛，他哥哥跟2个女儿，对5个。
他哥哥跟2个女儿，
2名女儿
2个女儿，他哥哥的2个女儿，
就是乔瑟夫，然后他的妻子、他的哥哥跟两个女儿。
那法兰西斯哦，对，法兰西斯他哥吼，法兰西斯莫雷罗，他哥啊，是乔瑟夫莫雷罗，他哥是法兰西斯莫雷罗。
哦，所以他有2个女儿，啊，但照片怎么只有1个女儿？
莫雷洛家
还是拍照那个人是他女儿，另外一个女儿。
乔莫雷洛与妻子、哥哥和他的2名女儿吗？有可能，有可能哦。我们有蛮多可以看影片的东西没有看到，可惜。互相的，就是有点赶。不过我发现好像我们看到的浴室啊都没有触发对吧？
有些浴室没有啊。
有些浴室应该是我们有触发到，但是我们自己有看到的浴室都没有触。好的，可以来找故事，我们来念故事听了。OK。有剧情解析。我想看他有没有什么可以，他那个硬币除了买雕像还有什么用？
就雕像而已，只有买雕像而已。
啊，我不能开没看过的东西，有点可惜。
摸西，
我懂。扒鸡。
睡死。
睡死，那睡死就好了。哦。对啊，雪曼就是那个啊，可活动的雪曼万尼雪曼尸体耶。它的模型好像不多欸，有点少。雪花。要破完了你才来看。
Torture chambers, secret passageways, vats of acid, and deadly vaults. In 1895, Chicago police unearthed horrific evidence of torture and multiple murders at the sprawling castle of H.H. Holmes. Masquerading under the guise of caring doctor, kind husband, and prominent businessman, H.H. Holmes was a contemporary monster, designing his buildings solely for the disposal of human bodies. Torture Doctor, Monster of 63rd Street. H.H. Holmes was America's first serial killer. Just south of Chicago, the suburb of Inglewood was thriving with commerce. The train station itself had 9 leading lines of railway and over 100 trains stopping there every day. No other suburb of Chicago had this luxury.
Dr. Henry Howard Holmes, a pleasure to meet you.
Arriving in Chicago, Holmes finds work immediately at the E.S. Holton drugstore, located at the southeast corner of 63rd and Wallace in Englewood. Several months later, Everett Holton dies of supposed natural causes. Then Claire Holton, his wife, disappears after selling the drugstore to Holmes. Owning the drugstore, Holmes had a steady flow of cash. He would often purchase and resell goods and properties under his numerous aliases. In addition to scamming creditors, Holmes obtained his funds from other phony inventions, such as a mineral water elixir, which in reality was obtained from the city's water supply. 1888, Holmes secures a lease on the vacant property across the street from the drugstore, the southwest corner of 63rd and Wallace. It is here that Holmes will make his horrific dreams come true. He will construct a building for which the entire world will remember him.
Fantasies start very young. And so what he did then was he took a step furtherance of his fantasies to make it reality. And probably if we had done a little bit of an investigation back then, we would have seen things like his plans, but not just plans for a building, because we'd expect to see architectural plans, but plans for his torture rooms.
For the suburb of Englewood, the building Holmes is erecting at 63rd and Wallace is a massive construction project. Day after day, passers-by stop to gaze at the spectacle of the many laborers working together to create a magnificent new edifice in their neighborhood. Englewood residents were so impressed with the massive building that they named it the Castle. From its outward appearance, it seemed rather normal. But like the duality of Holmes, the exterior and interior of the building were extremely different.
Holmes himself was the architect of the building. He was the only one who knew its design. There was this constant turnover of workers on the building. He would hire a mason to put in a wall and then fire the guy, or hire somebody to put in part of the staircase and then fire him. And there seemed to be several very sinister reasons behind that. One was he managed not to pay these people because he was always claiming that they were doing incompetent work. But the other, much more insidious reason was that no one except him really had a clear idea of what the structure of the interior of the house was. He had a huge bank vault installed in one of the rooms. And the way he did it was he put the vault in first while the building was under construction, and then built the room around it. And he bought this thing on credit and then refused to pay for it. The bank company said they were going to repossess the vault. Holmes said, well, you know, come on in and do, but if you damage my building in any way, I'm going to sue you for everything you're worth.
The bottom floor of the castle housed a pharmacy, jewelry store, barbershop, restaurant, and a blacksmith. Behind this innocent facade was a Gothic house of horrors designed by the mind of a monster.
我是不行了，再玩会吓死你。但是我可以把你当纪录片看。
The third floor seemed innocent enough, containing rented rooms, legitimate offices, and Holmes's own bedroom.
HH 服务模式真有提的。
哦。
But it was the second floor that contained 35 rooms, many specifically designed as killing chambers.
你484要把这系列都跑一遍了。
84
没有，他说他其实剩下系列不跑了。
我没有办法跑这东西，
Disorienting
心脏很痛。
unsuspecting victims, the labyrinthian construction contained numerous staircases and doorways that led nowhere.
可是我不讨厌这系列的叙事方式啊，我是对他的故事塑造的故事有兴趣。
这颗弹球会到炸。
别帮我修理它。
这篇真人真事改编。
Oh fuck!
For a quick method of hiding a victim's body, a concealed greased chute and trapdoor led directly into the basement of the castle.
Oh, 墙壁可以这样拆哦。
会更大。
The basement held the most terrifying rooms, resembling a medieval torture dungeon. Acid vats, quicklime pits, and a crematorium disguised as a glass-bending furnace were Holmes's favorite methods of immediate body disposal.
这样把人丢下去，人家都还没醒，太神奇了吧！Oh my god！
刚发生什么事？
你咋又坏咯？
咋又坏了？等一下再处理的。
After cleaning and mounting their bones, Holmes would profit from the victims by selling their skeletons to local medical schools and universities. Holmes would make a killing in Chicago, financially and literally. May 1st, 1893, the world's Columbian Exposition is open to the public in Chicago. Spanning 600 acres, sprawled out along beautiful Lake Michigan, the magnificent fair is a monumental sight to behold. Over 20 million people from around the world would attend the dazzling World's Fair between May 1st and October 30th, 1893. Holmes utilizes the World's Fair as the perfect opportunity to capitalize on his demented design of the castle. Located only a few miles from the World's Fair, Holmes's castle was perfect lodging for tourists. Holmes decides to rent rooms to visitors of the fair. He entirely renovates the upper floors of the castle, bringing in the most modern furnishings and luxuries, all purchased on credit, which Holmes had no intention of repaying. In addition to placing newspaper ads for rooms to rent, Holmes visited the fair with several of Benjamin Peitzel's children, preying on elderly women who flaunted their wealth, making sure he invited them back to the castle for a warm night's stay in a soft bed.
They're not calling their relatives telling them where they're at. They just know that they're going to Chicago to see the Columbian Exposition. Perfect victims, because they're unknown in the city. Their relatives, wherever they came from, know that they were coming to Chicago, and they never came back. Now, how do you start to find them? They don't even know where they stayed. Perfect, easy victims. I'm sure some of them got in and out of his place with no problem. And others, they walked in and they never checked out.
Some of the rooms had been completely lined with asbestos to make them soundproof.
Hidden in Holmes's office was a master control panel which connected to gas lines leading into airtight sleeping chambers. Holmes would lead his victims into the rooms, lock them in, and turn on the gas, asphyxiating them while watching their demise.
Let me out! Holmes, let me out, please! Holmes! Holmes! Holmes, please! Holmes!
At the height of the World's Fair, Holmes masterfully juggles his castle businesses, renting rooms, dodging creditors, selling skeletons, and attending to the needs of the many women in his life.
I have had many young ladies in my employ, most of whom are still living in and about Chicago, whose parents and friends know only too well that far from being their seducer, I have done much to materially help them in their narrow lives.
Being a personable, attractive young doctor and businessman, Holmes won the hearts of many women throughout his life. At one point, Holmes managed to secretly have 3 wives, each never knowing of the
大
other.
情圣呢？
In 1890, Julia Connor became Holmes's employee and mistress, living at the castle with her daughter Pearl. When she became pregnant and demanded marriage, Holmes agreed on the condition that she allowed him to perform an abortion on her. She agreed. Neither Julia nor her daughter Pearl were ever seen again. Just a week later, Holmes sold a clean, articulated skeleton to the Hahnemann Medical College for nearly $200. In 1892, Holmes acquired another mistress, Emmeline Sigrand, and employed her as private secretary. Holmes sent Emmeline into the vault to retrieve some papers and sealed it, suffocating her to death. Several weeks later, the University of Chicago acquired a female skeleton from Dr. Holmes. In 1893, Minnie Williams became Holmes's new private secretary and eventually his mistress. Minnie was the beneficiary of a property in Fort Worth, Texas, valued at over $40,000. Holmes murdered Minnie and her younger sister Nanny after having Minnie sign over the Fort Worth property to him. In 1894, Georgiana Yoke became Holmes's third wife. He married her under the name Henry Mansfield Howard. Like his other legitimate wives, Georgiana lived out her entire life. On July 19, 1895, Chicago police enter the Holmes castle. The world would now learn of the horrors that the castle had kept secret for so very long. As disoriented detectives and police searched the upper floors of the castle, the true depths of Holmes's evil were waiting in the basement. Among the death devices in the basement of the castle, investigators find piles of mixed human and animal bones, bloody women's undergarments, and a wooden dissection table saturated with dried blood. Chicago police were inundated with names of people reported missing from the World's Fair. 50 missing people were eventually traced to the Castle of Horrors. The evidence, blood and bones found in the basement posed a problem for 19th century criminal investigative techniques.
It was very difficult to go and identify even the bones as being human in origin, because with the very small fragments you didn't have enough of the identifying characteristics to be able to make that ID.
The world is now calling Holmes the Monster of 63rd Street, Torture Doctor, and the Modern Bluebeard. Overnight, Holmes transforms from arch-swindler to arch-fiend. A Chicago journalist calls Holmes a multi-murderer.
The Holmes case generated this incredible amount of national attention and really international attention. Really in his own time and in America, Holmes was much more notorious and more widely known than Jack the Ripper, who was a contemporary of his. Then as now, people were very, very fascinated to sort of visit the sites of these terrible crimes. And his castle became a kind of tourist site. And there were various people who wanted to take it over and turn it into a kind of murder museum. And then, just before some impresario was about to make it again into this tourist attraction, it burnt down. Somebody burnt it down. I mean, it could have been, who knows, some outraged citizen who didn't want this to become some very morbid tourist attraction. Holmes's trial was kind of the O.J. Simpson trial of the day. It just generated this huge amount of publicity. The case had become a kind of national obsession. Of course, there wasn't CNN or Court TV back then, so it couldn't be covered quite as relentlessly, but it was covered very, very extensively. There were true crime books and pamphlets and all kinds of stuff. And Holmes himself had become a sort of folk figure almost, you know, the sort of national boogeyman.
The courtroom fills for the final verdict to be read. Holmes becomes extremely nervous when not one of the jury members looks at him. In his entire criminal career, this is the moment Holmes never believed would occur. He is found guilty of murder in the first degree. Herman Webster Mudgett, alias H.H. Holmes, would be hanged on May 7th, 1896.
等一下，我在看影片。
While Holmes was in jail, awaiting the execution of the sentence, he was made an offer by William Randolph Hearst, supposedly for a significant amount of money, to provide his confessions. Holmes, who had already issued about a half a dozen completely self-contradictory versions of his crimes, clearly at this point felt he had nothing to lose. He was going to die anyway. In this confession, he did a complete about-face and portrayed himself as the worst monster who ever lived. He just basically confessed to every crime anybody had ever suspected him of and threw in a few more for good measure.
He's reliving the fantasies after the fact now. He's reliving the fantasies of things that he did.
She was very willing to do this and prepared to leave the vault upon completing the letter, only to learn that the door would never again be opened until she had ceased to suffer the tortures of a slow and lingering death. The partial excavation in the walls of this room found by the police was caused by Latimer's endeavoring to escape by tearing away the solid brick and mortar with his unaided fingers. I closed the door and turned on both the oil and steam to their full extent. In a short time, not even the bones of my victim remained. It was the footprint of Nanny Williams that was found upon the painted surface of the vault door, made during her violent struggles before death. Only one difficulty presented itself. It was necessary for me to kill him in such a manner that no struggle or movement of his body should occur. I overcame this difficulty by first binding him hand and foot, and having done this, I proceeded to burn him alive by saturating his clothing and his face with benzene and igniting it with a match. As soon as he had ceased to breathe, I cut his body into pieces, and by the combined use of gas and corn cobs, proceeded to burn it with as little feeling as though it had been some inanimate object. I immediately took them to the Vincent Street house and compelled them to get within the large trunk, through the cover of which I had made a small opening and ended their lives by connecting the gas with the trunk. Then came the opening of the trunk and the viewing of their little blackened and distorted faces. Then the digging of their shallow graves in the basement of the house. The ruthless stripping off of their clothing and the burial without a particle of covering save the cold earth. I am convinced that since my imprisonment, I have changed woefully and gruesomely from what I was formerly in feature and figure. My features are assuming a pronounced satanical cast. My head and face are gradually assuming an elongated shape. I believe fully that I am growing to resemble the devil.
On the gallows, just before he died, he recanted. He claimed that the confession that he had published was a complete fabrication.
The extent of my wrongdoing in the taking of human life consists in contriving the killing of 2 women that have died at my hands as a result of criminal operations. That is all I have to say.
H.H. Holmes is hanged on Thursday, May 7th, 1896, just 9 days before his 35th birthday. At 10:25 a.m., he is pronounced dead.
He was very concerned that after his execution, his body would be dug up either by medical men seeking to dissect his brain and find out what made him tick, or just ghoulish sort of, souvenir hunters, and he requested that he be buried within a big slab of concrete, which he actually was. One of the things about Holmes is that nobody knows for sure how many people he actually killed, although in my researches, which were pretty, I feel, thorough and extensive, it seemed very clear to me that he murdered at least 9 people. There have been stories that he killed 50, 100, countless people, particularly in Chicago at the height of the World's Fair.
How many people did Holmes actually murder? Most likely, no one will ever know. Holmes and the many other people that came in contact with him are long gone, having taken the answers with them to their graves.
I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer no more than the poet can help the inspiration to sing. I was born with the evil one standing as my sponsor beside the bed where I was ushered into the world. And he has been with me since.
为什么最后还要叫一下？ 现在你要说什么？
那个杜梅特就是那个 FBI，配
他
电视那个，
他就是蒙迪啊，
对啊，就是那个蒙迪。
其中一位是不是？诶，
但
蒙迪
是
死多久了？
蒙迪没死啊，那是假死。他那个在芝加哥火烧那个是假死。
所以他把那个牙齿磨成跟自己一样造假，还是不然就是他的那个牙齿记录报告是有假的造假。
用假的吧？
诶，那蒙迪是什么时候出生的啊？
他可能50几岁吧。
哇，50几岁才这么健壮。
你不是有看到那个什么蒙迪的什么那个报告吗？
你是说哪一个？
就是那个什么证照那个证件照那个证件那个。
我现在应该看不到了。
秘密那边应该看得到吧？可是到底是有感觉杜梅特应该已经死在那个床下了，那怎么还会有？现在这个就我不知道了。可能是杜梅特在杀人游戏过程中，他又找几个人，他要找几个新的人来解放自己心中的魔鬼。
啊，他不是应该死在船下了吗？
对啊，
到底有几个杀手？哦，还有一个那个城堡的没看，把这个看完，我们就可以关游戏了。这个打造谋杀城堡。
你看完之后就换游戏，换麻将。
好哦。
跟我直接打麻将啊。
What do we know about this guy? He's rich, he's a recluse, he's obsessed with H.H. Holmes.
We're going to a property he inherited from a relative. Some of the rooms are full recreations from the murder castle. Dumet has blueprints, documents, artifacts.
Totally sane, I'm sure.
There are various elements we knew we wanted to explore when designing the hotel, from developing areas and set pieces that generated a constant sense of uneasiness and tension, to memorable trap rooms that forced the player into frantic life and death decisions.
I'm so sorry.
We took a lot of inspiration from Holmes' original murder castle, as we wanted to capture the way that Holmes' castle was created to disorientate and confuse his victims.
Welcome to the World's Fair Hotel.
As cunning as Dumet is, not everything in his castle runs like clockwork anymore. His operation has become so vast that he can't maintain everything, and the Lonic crew have turned up at just the right time to exploit that.
The production design for the hotel needed to reflect the original design, utilising a Victorian-style facade and castle turrets, interiors with ornate mouldings and panelling, being made larger to accommodate the game's intention to be used as a vast labyrinth to create fear and horror. This included the hidden rooms, sliding walls, trapdoors, and secret basements, but with extra central monitor rooms and death rooms, all hidden from the guests, providing multiple layers and multiple levels to explore, unveiling the horror within. Special attention was given to the design of the areas such as the lobby, the bar area, and the dining rooms to provide an authentic, believable Victorian hotel, bringing a feeling of magnitude and foreboding to intimidate the player.
Guys? Is that you?
The hotel guest rooms were designed to be opulent yet aged, in keeping in style with furnishings and fittings, yet having additional modern electronic window shutters installed to trap the victims. Secret observation rooms were also built adjoining, with hidden doorways to enter. Corridors were cleverly designed to include mechanical sliding walls hidden within the Victorian framework, used to change the layout of the labyrinth throughout the hotel.
Fuck.
The murder inventions designed within locations included the suffocation and crushing rooms, furnaces, and acid baths. The monitor room was a newly constructed area, deep within the core of the hotel. This room allowed Dumet the full control of the labyrinth and its workings.
In The Devil in Me, we make use of a range of mechanics new to the Dark Pictures series to help convey the unsettling mood and threat of the hotel. With an expanded focus on exploration, the player spends a lot of the time exploring the hotel's labyrinthian corridors, and as each character revisits a shared area, the feel of it changes. Each character has their own unique light source. Erin and Jamie, as the practical sound and lighting techs, have fairly straightforward torches, with Erin's directional microphone providing an additional small light when in use. Mark, the camera operator, has his camera flash, lifting the darkness in short bursts and providing mini jump scares as the player suddenly sees something out of the gloom. Kate lights her way around with her makeup mirror, providing a small amount of light to fumble through the corridors. And then Charlie's sole light source is his own cigarette lighter, casting the hotel in its flickering orange light and barely really lighting anything at all.
Jamie, over here.
Each character experiences these shared areas differently through this, adding to the sense of the familiar hotel rooms changing with each visit.
It's amazing.
The Island Hotel was originally built in the 1890s. It was converted into a spa later on until it was abandoned and finally chosen by Dumet for his murder playground. Some parts had been restored, like the rooms the characters stay in and the lush lobby and bar areas on the first floor. We work closely with concept art and art direction to create distinct color palettes and ornate assets that made those areas more inviting while still leaving something unsettling about their imperfections. But elsewhere, we could show the hotel and spa's original treatment rooms and the indoor pool which had fallen into disrepair and other thematically different places. Our second challenge was getting into Dumet's head. We knew that he was supposed to be a very meticulous man. He's the sole architect of this place and proud of his creations. Some rooms are deliberately left in disrepair. We created them with the base layers showing, and we scattered building equipment around to tell the narrative that Dumet still has plans for them. Others he had completely purpose-built. That's where we used a mix of old brick and breeze block materials next to each other to create contrast. And on top of that, there are traps everywhere. Some of the most interesting areas to create were the ones which were supposed to be off-limits to hotel guests. We wanted to show the stark contrast of his personal space versus the one he hunts people in. The team went as far to even design Dumet's handwriting, and we used that on boards and documents to show more of his personality. There's storytelling in every small detail.
Lighting in Devil in Me is a bit different from the previous Dark Picture games, since we have more explorations and more playable areas in the game for players to freely explore. We had to slightly adjust the way we used to do lighting by adding some new stuff, such as adding more guide lights in the environment for direction, or add some interactable light fixtures that you can trigger on and off by walking closer or away from them. So there are 4 types of lighting styles in the hotel. The first one is the regular hotel areas where everyone should feel safe and cozy. We try to use more bright, warm color lights with different elegant light fixtures. And the second one is the areas that are either under constructions, used as Dumet's workshop, or places only lit by moonlight or should be pitch black. We used cooler temperature lights or even blue lights for these kind of areas with very low light intensity and very heavy volumetric fog to enhance the claustrophobic vibe and to elevate the tension. So the third one would be the control room where Dumet watches and controls all the activities in the hotel. We want this room to be especially bright, like an industrial warehouse with a cool, eerie mood to separate it from the other rooms. And the last one is all the rooms that are designed to be slaughter stages. Killing is like creating art to Dumet, and he wants all his artworks to be presented epically with audiences, classical music, and beautiful lighting setup. So in these areas, unlike the others that have more neutral color in the lights, we tend to artificially light these areas with either theatrical lighting or use high contrast saturated lighting setup so that we know something is going to happen.
If we don't do something, both of them will die, Mark.
We wanted to provide players with a truly realistic historical Sonic experience whilst inside the murder castle. We researched multiple properties and buildings built within the same period as the original Chicago murder castle. Authentic door foley and sound effects elements were high on our priority list. We recorded multiple door openings, closings, handles, rattles and squeaks. Throughout pre-production, we'd seen all the variations of emotion characters would be displaying when using the doors, ranging from calmness through to blind panic and incensed rage. All these emotions could be channeled into the performance we recorded. Another element of the soundscape we went into considerable detail recording was floorboard and stair creaks. Virtually every step we took provided us with a distinctive and unique sound. We recorded these creaks in 3 states: running, walking, and walking slow. To further add to this, as the characters climb higher inside the Met's murder castle, the creaks will become more frequent as you enter unfinished rooms, exposed walkways, and the structural integrity of the hotel becomes more dangerous and unstable.
In terms of the music, we chose various 19th century pieces of classical music and opera to accompany the murder scenes. These would have been the pop music tracks around the time of H.H. Holmes, providing a cognitive link between past and present. Classical music and opera accompanies a lot of the murder scenes, often playing through a gramophone or a tannoy, which is then fed back through our bespoke impulse responses to allow the music to naturally echo throughout the cellars and corridors of the space.
What is this?
We took a similar approach as well with the abstract sound design, including nods to classic horror films with really discordant, unnerving piano impacts and bowed metal interspersed with electromagnetic recordings, synths and ultra-modern distortion to provide that juxtaposition and that link through time between the historical setting and the modern-day story.
Designing the hotel as a play space presented different challenges than previous Dark Pictures games. We've gone from quite open environments in House of Ashes and Little Hope to a more enclosed one with the hotel. The ability to revisit previous environments at different points in the story, with different layouts and different emotional states, meant that we had to collaborate very closely with each other to make sure we designed each area to cater for every requirement. We had to think how a lit corridor would feel if multiple characters roaming around it, versus the same corridor drenched in darkness with just a singular player character. Empty hotels are inherently eerie, and it allowed us to play with the idea of liminal space to try and create a murder castle that felt uncanny. It's something that felt truly unique.
It's me! Get in here!
Jamie?
Thank God.
哦，制作组弄了很多的小细节跟彩蛋在里面。
是啊，
赞呢！可是我有点想看这2个。
锁起来了。
对啊。完了，我是不是找人家的存档？救命 ！OK， 所以玩到这边了，谢谢大家，感谢收看，我们去打麻将。
啊，不是要打日麻吗？
对啊，我要去打麻将啦，感谢收看，没错啊。
哦，你要关台了？
没有，我要关录影的。
哦，老师打麻将啊！
打麻将啦！谢谢大家。总的来说，黑象棋这次的新中魔真的蛮有趣的，故事有趣了，但是被吓得也不轻。
故事剧情不错啦。
我还是不太爱 jump scare， 就是，但是他营造的那个压迫感有在，很赞。他这
营造压迫感很赞啊。
那个压迫感很赞。我们如果真的喜欢对恐怖惊悚类的，可以承受这些，想要看的蛮推的。趁现在有特价，赶快去买。好啦，谢谢大家收看啦，我们下部影片再见，拜拜。